the MVP?
The MVP thing to me is kind of a null and void conversation because, like, Lamar's great and Josh is great, and then it just becomes this battle. So I'm like, co-MVP, whatever. We know that Josh Allen is a hell of a player.
Yes, he is. And even if he doesn't win this year, I think he is. But if he doesn't, he'll get one or two before the thing's all said and done.
Congrats.
But I went and looked at, all right, he's an MVP. What do his numbers look like throughout the year that we've actually gone through? And then I wanted to break that down per game because we're not going to play him 17 times, right? We're going to play him once, and it's coming up on Sunday. So per game, here's what Josh Allen did. And my question is going to be afterwards to Cecil and to you, Broncos country. Do the Broncos need to hold him to those numbers or below those numbers to get a win? And is that actually a real possibility?
Yeah, I would say you've got to find a way to get him to punt somehow, some way. So whatever the numbers are, and remember, the Broncos can be a bend but don't break defense.
Yes, they can.
So if they're out there kicking field goals, that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
If it ends in a kick, that's a win, whether it's a field goal or a punt. You're facing Josh Allen. If he's not out there scoring touchdowns, you're winning in that situation.
You get him off the field and score. And I know the Chiefs were a bunch of backups, but the Broncos had 14 points on the board before the Chiefs had run 9 plays.
Nice.
That's something, now, much easier said than done, especially with the Bills.
Right.
But can you get 3 points on the board? 7 points on the board before they run 3 to 6 plays? That would be a big advantage. So here's the numbers. Josh Allen, 233 passing yards a game, 1.75 passing touchdowns a game, just 0.3 interceptions per game, because as I told you earlier, he's only thrown 6 all year long. Add another 33 yards on the ground per Josh Allen and just under a rushing touchdown per game. He had 12 of those all year. So we're talking about, roughly 265 yards and about 2 touchdowns a game. If he does that and does not turn the ball over, Cecil, what's the outcome?
Yeah, if he does that and does not turn the ball over, it's going to be tough to win.
Yes, it is.
It's going to be really tough. If Josh Allen controls this game, you want less Josh Allen in whatever way possible and more Sean McDermott pressing. And I think of momentum, and you mentioned the Chiefs game, and it was backups and they laid down. There's no question about that. But I just look at the momentum that you have based off that big victory and how you're feeling going to the postseason, playing with house money, compared to the Bills resting people and then losing to the Patriots. And when they didn't want to lose, cost Gerard Mayo his job, in my opinion. Is that momentum? Did they go into the postseason the right way? How is Buffalo feeling? Are they feeling like, well, we're going to be the eventual Super Bowl champs and we've got stuff to do, we've got work to do, and do they have the same somewhat hubris that the Chiefs did? And then you enter the postseason because it's not momentum before the playoffs. It's building towards that and then continuing it through the playoffs. Yeah. The Broncos have momentum. But Chiefs backups laid down, yes, all that's true. But it also did build confidence and momentum with the Broncos starters. Mm-hmm. The Bills rested guys. Amari Cooper dealing with personal stuff. We don't know what it is, but he did return to the team today.
So he's at the facility. We don't know what he's doing.
Right. We'll assume he's going to practice, he's going to play, and he's been mostly a part-time player anyway. Khalil Shakir, Friday at noon, Game Plan Fridays. Everyone, you're never going to want to miss that because Khalil Shakir's the guy. But if you look at this, you go, okay, a healthy Bills team with Josh Allen running the show. Can we get somehow, some way where you lull him to sleep? We always talk about puncher's chance, right? We talked to James Palmer earlier in the show. The Broncos have a puncher's chance. Well, what do you do as a puncher's chance? That means you got to stand in toe-to-toe, and you're not taking the knockout blow.
Yeah.
You're not letting him get the haymaker. You yourself are doing some body blows. You yourself are staying there. You're keeping your gloves up. You're guarding your face. Always got to protect the face.
Yeah.
And then you get your shots in when you can. If you can lull Buffalo, if they're not taking haymakers at you, a Josh Allen, 50-yard touchdown run, because he's capable of doing that.
Is.
If he's not doing a moon ball to Keon Coleman, right? If Khalil Shakir doesn't break a tackle on a dirty bunch formation and then takes it to the house, if you're preventing them from having field-flipping plays and you yourself are getting some body blows and maybe some haymakers, Marvin Mims, he's so angry, right? You got to get angry. Patches O'Houlihan says. Marvin Mims says, I got you, bro. I want Marvin Mims on my dodgeball team.
Hell yeah.
Because he's going to kill you, right? So if you can
He
get
will
some...
throw a wrench.
Yes, he will. And you ain't going to be able to dodge it. If Marvin Mims can be the haymaker, like you're doing body blow, running the ball, a little estimate, a little Jalil, whatever, Sutton's over here, bang, 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 and then all of a sudden you get that field flipping play from Mims and they can't match it, that's advantage Denver. Yeah. That's how you win this game.
Well, and it's you've said this week. It's not like Buffalo has these all-world cornerbacks or secondary or safeties in the same situation.
Right.
But there hadn't been a lot of games throughout the year where I can go, you know what? The Broncos had an advantage at the wide receiver position against the cornerbacks that they're facing.
Right.
I might feel comfortable saying that about this Buffalo Bills game.
Yes.
Because of who Cortland has been, and you just said the name, who Marvin has been over the last 6 weeks.
And who has Bo been?
And Bo. That's
you
right.
know, people are discounting Bo, whether it's Jeff Saturday, who I know came on these airwaves and didn't really apologize. He almost took credit for it. Like, see, I fired him up.
Oh, wow, really?
Come on, Jeff.
Well, and we found out last night at the game, Bo posted the video, his Instagram video.
Yeah, his people did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Bo's not doing that.
Bo's not doing any of that. He hasn't done any of that
He's
all year.
studying the Bills.
But somebody DM'd me and was like, yo, Mike Evans is on Bo's video. And I
dissing him.
I listened to it, and it was the Jeff Saturday thing. And I wrote back to the guy. I'm like, no, that's Jeff Saturday saying it. I just didn't know that Saturday came on. And Mike was setting the interview up and read what Jeff said.
Yeah.
And that's what Bo's people put on the video.
Yeah.
So it wasn't Mike wasn't taking the shot. Mike was being a good radio host and setting up the interviewer to be interviewed.
Yes.
And I guess his people just didn't
And
know
then he
about
blamed me for putting that segment on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Because that's probably where they pulled it from. But either way, like...
They just search Bo Nix's name on YouTube?
You have these people taking these sorts of shots. By the way, Kev, we haven't heard any of that about Jaden Daniels. He's in the playoffs. Jeff Saturday or insert any former player, they're not saying like, nobody wants to see a rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels. No. We all want to see that. Y'all want to see Bo Nix too. Mm-hmm. Again, I'll go back to Monday. You dumb bastards. You just let Bo Nix into the postseason. How's that going to work out, right? And now he's got momentum. He's got confidence. This is what he prepared for. He's been preparing for this his entire life. You just gave him an opportunity to make a run at a Super Bowl, as improbable as it may seem. And now you have the Bills defense, which can be their Achilles heel, you know, and Vaughn's all up in his feelings as a part-time player. Like, okay, Vaughn, you probably aren't going to touch Bo Nix. Square biz, man. Is Von Miller going to sack Bo Nix?
Probably not.
I'd say no. And not just because the great protection, but like Vaughn's not really Vaughn anymore.
And Bo gets rid of the ball.
Bo gets rid of the ball. Two guys like Marvin Mims. So you just got angry Marvin Mims. You got Sutton out there so grateful to be there, but not in the fact of like, I'm glad we made it. Nobody's exhaling.
No.
Nobody's looking at this and saying like, we made it, guys. You haven't made anything. They know that.
It's just the beginning of what this should look like.
Yes.
A couple of things about the Bills. Our old buddy Phil Milani had this on his Twitter account. We mentioned earlier, and James Palmer had it too, that the Bills are the first team in NFL history with 30 passing touchdowns and 30 rushing touchdowns, so a 30-30 club for the first time ever. They also tied an NFL record with 13 different players catching a touchdown pass. That one, I want to come back to. They did not lose a game at home all year, where obviously this game is going to be taking place. They were 2-3 against other playoff teams. Both wins actually came against Kansas City and Detroit. So then they lose to bottom-tier playoff teams here. But let me go back to that tied an NFL record for 13 players catching a touchdown. You and I said it all season long. Who do you think is the biggest threat? Well, number 2 follows that guy around, and he's no longer a threat. Now we're talking about 13 different players catching a touchdown. You brought up the tight ends yesterday. We know that the inside linebacker position is a weak link for the Denver Broncos. That's worrisome for me. Riley Moss, I have a lot of confidence in that young fella. He's got a lot of confidence in himself, and I like that about Riley Moss. But the Riley Moss I watched for 14 weeks wasn't the Riley Moss I watched in the final 2 weeks.
Right.
So that kind of makes me nervous as well.
It makes me a little bit nervous there too, but you think the rust has been shaken off?
I hope so.
You know, with a player coming back from injury, You assume rust the first game, maybe a little rust the second game. I'm not exactly sure because that game was against Kansas City laying down.
Mm-hmm.
So a real challenge. And if I game plan this, if I'm Joe Brady, I go dirty bunch. I go right at Sternad. I run the ball with James Cook. I put him in space. I run Texas routes right at Sternad. I do dirty bunch with Khalil Shakir. I try to get some rub routes. If you dare play man on the bunch side of the formation, like it's just done.
Mm-hmm.
You are creating space for them because they're picking you.
Yep.
And they won't get called for pick plays, not because of the refs being terrible, but because, well, you're not really going to call that if it's run properly, and they run it to perfection.
Yeah.
Again, dirty bunch is real simple, but they run it to perfection. So you better zone up on that side. But if I'm the Bills, I'm attacking you with in-breaking routes for your running backs, Texas routes essentially, and I'm going at Justin Sternad. That's what I'm doing. And then Riley Moss, I am testing him with Khalil Shakir. That's going to be something that Moss has to have the answer. We need to see regular Riley, not rusty Riley.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And if you do get that, I mean, we talked about pressure before. If you do get a turnover, if there's pressure around Josh Allen, he tests Riley Moss and he gets a turnover, well, he's already in his head about PS2. What does that do for Josh Allen's confidence for the rest of the game? You're like, I know I can't go that side because Patrick's over there. I've already turned the ball over on this side, and Riley Moss is over there. All right, now I do want to attack a Justin Sternad, but then if you're Vance Joseph, you get to focus on the middle of the field with Brandon Jones and PJ Locke, or even Jaquan, depending on what they're looking at on the other side. You can eliminate the hash marks from the outside and focus on the middle of the field.
Yes.
VJ's struggled with that a little bit, especially with the Rusty Riley that you're talking about. But, man, if they can get that and just take two major parts away from Josh Allen, then it becomes middle of the field for a pass or that rush up the middle where you're going to have to gang tackle a guy like Josh Allen.
And we can all recognize and realize what Josh Allen is. Now, how pissed is he that the Broncos didn't draft him?
Oh, you think he still is?
Is that still a thing?
Wow.
If it is still a thing, and guys can use motivation, Michael Jordan would make stuff up. He'd be like, remember when you beat me in that little dice game? You're like, I didn't play against you. Yeah, you did. And he was like, he would crush guys. He would make stuff up in his head yet so that he could beat you down. Josh Allen is wired that way. So is he mad? Like, if John Elway still ran this team, I'd be more nervous. Because Josh Allen was right there in Laramie. And we had more people from the fan at his pro day than the Broncos had at his pro day. In Laramie. It's like 2 hours or whatever the drive is. Beautiful drive. Love Laramie. But is that mistake going to really haunt you? And haunt you in the way that you build momentum so much so that Josh Allen just comes out and he's crushing you. Like he can be, he's not unstoppable, but there are moments where it seems like he's unstoppable, especially with Joe Brady running that offense the way he does. Josh is very comfortable this year. You make him uncomfortable. However, that's middle pressure is the answer, but however that's possible.
Well, will VJ be up to the task? I saw this from Ryan McFadden, who he covers the Broncos for who again?
Denver Post.
Denver Post.
Yeah. Ryan's a good dude.
I don't know him that well, but I see him at everything, so he's out there grinding. He tweeted this out with a graphic of what VJ has done flipping this defense from 23 to 24. We'll just go through its points per game, total yards allowed, passing yards, rushing yards, sacks, pressures, pressure rate, and then interceptions. Last year, the rankings looked like this: 27th, 30th, 22nd, 30th, 22nd, 22nd, 18th, and then tied for 19th. So the highest statistical category was pressure rate at 18 of 34.9%. Now, this number will tell you how close this is throughout the NFL because they're 18th last year at 34.9%. They're third this year, and it's jumped up to 37.4%. So the discrepancy isn't that big. And then interceptions, they only had 15 this year. They're tied for 8th. Passing yards allowed per game, that's where they still struggled a little bit at 19th. Everything else is top 10 from Vance Joseph.
Yeah. So make it happen, and this is the ultimate challenge. And in fact, I mean, based on the bracket, you would face Josh Allen, Kansas City, Pat Mahomes, and then the other side of the bracket would be Baltimore. You'd have to face Baltimore in the AFC Championship, most likely. You could make the argument, even among those three MVP-level players, your toughest task is your first task.
Yeah. I mean, well, the world thinks that the Chiefs are frauds. You and I believe that the Chiefs are frauds.
Right.
I don't know. Be it the Broncos or the Chargers or whomever it may be, the Chiefs aren't going back to the Super Bowl. I don't know that I'm even going to pick them to get out of their divisional round. So, yeah, I think you might be right. It's you get past the Bills, and I'm not saying that it's easy sledding after that.
No.
But you've taken down the biggest boss, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the rest is, your divisional round would be somewhat anticlimactic if you were able to get there. But, you got to take care of business now. And the nice thing is about Vance Joseph and his defensive unit and those players, and I'll be in the locker room in 2 hours. Actually, almost 2 hours on the money. The locker room knows who they are. We can talk about identity of offense. I don't know.
They don't have one right now.
Defense, we know.
Yeah.
Defense, we know. It's Nick Bonito. It's Jonathan Cooper. Zach Allen. DeAndre Tillman.
Yeah.
It's Jonah Ellis. It's all those guys swarming. It's P.J. Locke and Brandon Jones on the back end. That defense can get after it, and this is the type of game. Listen, football, it's an oddly shaped ball. It's going to bounce differently. Even though the Bills could blow you out of the water, 41-10, the ball bounces differently. It's not going to go Buffalo's way all the time. When it doesn't, and I'm talking punt or field goal, when it doesn't go their way, you must then take advantage, and offensively, you can with Bo. Their defense struggles. Bo's getting chemistry. Marvin Mims angry. Go throw those wrenches, man.
Yeah.
Go take your shots. And then at the end of the game, you can say, we're better than you, and we know it.
100%. Like I said, we said puncher's chance. We're going to talk ourselves into getting there.
Is that an insult, by the way?
Is it?
Do you think people are just saying it to just because like I said the other day, people would rather be wrong in a crowd than right by themselves, and that's just human behavior. But when people say that, is it just kind of half-hearted or even to ourselves and even to me, right? Am I myself being like, well, I'm not saying they're going to win, but damn it, nobody in the locker room saying, well, I'm not saying we got a puncher's chance.
They're not saying we have a puncher's chance.
Nobody in the locker room saying puncher's chance.
No. I don't intend it to be an insult when I say it. I look at it as, look, they're the underdog. They're going to be a double-digit underdog by the time we get to that game on Sunday. So I don't think it's a backhanded compliment or an insult by any means. To me, you're supposed to lose this game, but I'm not completely writing you off. Here's your puncher's chance.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure of that.
When I was in high school, right, Northland High School, we used to go and get in fist fights at open spaces. Kevin knows about open spaces. And I'll always remember, I don't know if I should say his name, but he'd be proud of it if I did. Chris Mastopoulos, that was his last name, so I'm not saying anything weird. But an upperclassman challenged him to a fight.
Okay.
And we're all like, dude, you are going to get your ass kicked later on today.
Yes.
And he's like, no, I got a puncher's chance. And I'm like, no, you don't. And guess what? He caught homeboy slipping and had a puncher's chance.
Okay.
And got the win, and he was a legend for the rest of high school.
I think his last name's legendary, but I won't even repeat it because I don't want to get in trouble.
That was
again.
his name. I'm just saying his name.
Okay, it's just his name. That's just what it is. So, all right.
So I don't look at it as a compliment. It's like you're supposed to lose, but I'm not completely writing you off.
Okay.
Or an insult. I said compliment.
Yeah. And perhaps it'd be too homerish. I'm not offended by that, by the way. To be like, they're totally going to win, guys. I want fans to think that. When I run into Broncos fans, whether it's at a Nuggets game or a gas station or whatever, I want you guys to be like, we can win, guys. Yes, because you can.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody in the locker room's thinking, we got a puncher's chance. They're thinking, we got a tough task and we can do it.
Yeah.
That's what they're thinking. You know what I'm thinking? Hi, YouTube.
What up, YouTubers?
Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. But yeah, let's flip and go, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost game time.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be a weird travel weekend because getting to Buffalo is a gigantic pain.
So what time do you leave Friday? What time do you have to be at the airport on Friday?
I have to duck out of the show a little bit early.
Okay. So you'll go right from here, airport to Vegas. Vegas airport to meeting.
Dinner with my sister, back to the airport, red eye to Baltimore. Wait around for a little bit. Baltimore to Buffalo. I land in Buffalo at 4 p.m. Saturday.
And what's Mace's got a direct? Or is he meeting you in Baltimore?
I think he has to. It's Buffalo, man. Getting to Buffalo is tough. So he'll be there before me.
Okay.
And he might actually be there Friday night. But either way, like, yeah, we'll be good. It'll be a day Saturday. But can you sleep on a plane?
Oh yeah, I'll sleep on this desk right now, dude. I stayed up way too late last night. I'm real tired today. I could fall asleep right now on this desk.
Yeah. So was it 40-year-old virgin when he dated the girl with the narcolepsy at the speed dating thing?
Tied her up for whatever, or so her head didn't fall down.
And then the one guy was like, "You got some feminine features. I like that about you."
Can you sleep on a plane? I mean,
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I got no problem. I am not chatty Cathy on a plane.
oh no.
I'm not saying that I don't like it. It's not like I'm unfriendly, but like I would rather just listen to music, fall asleep, and, meditate, stuff like that. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to talk on a plane of my friend circle's pretty full. I don't need to know what's going on in your life.
I just don't want my last words if the plane were to crash to be like, "Wow, aluminum siding, great, Bob."
Yeah. That's exactly
no, I don't want your Amway.
Or maybe it's like, what is the life insurance thing you were saying again? Can we get that done now?
Yeah. Can we do it like mobile on the phone?
Oh, that's good. That is very good. Oh, somebody's saying they're keeping my receipt. I'll say it again loud and clear for you. The Chiefs are not going back to the Super Bowl. There we go. That's for the Chiefs fan that's texting in right there. A couple more don't be that, guys. I have another one, and I think I've done like the don't be the lottery scratch ticket person at the counter. I have another layer to that.
Well, that keeps people from getting checked out.
Like you just bought your ticket.
Go scratch in a car.
Mm-hmm. And if you win, come
back,
claim your
stand in
$4
line
after I buy my Gatorade.
Because the dudes will, and I worked at a gas station, they'll cut back in line.
That's
because they won
ridiculous.
$4.
I have another one, though. The lottery ticket person is very annoying. But when you're the person that's at the gas station, you're checking out. You're getting your stickers, your Gatorade, paying for your gas, whatever it is you're doing. But you've taken out your wallet, your car keys, your credit card then fell out. You have 15 quarters on the counter, and then you pay for your purchase and have to put all that crap back into your pockets before I can go and buy my Gatorade. Don't be that guy. Take out your damn credit card, put it on the button, put it back in your wallet, and get back in your vehicle.
I know sometimes they don't work, but people do the like Apple Pay or whatever. Pay on your phone.
Yeah.
Know how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Know how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I'm late. I haven't been late, knock on wood. Even though Spivak was scolding at me like, "Don't be late."
You're kind of close, but you're never late.
I'm never late. And you get behind people with the pay with phone stuff, and they don't know how to use it. That's a real cool feature. Can I just pay for you so I can go? Because I don't want to be late because Drew is going to yell at me.
Yeah.
Right? Basically, I live my life so that Spivak doesn't yell at me.